at Retro Gaming Revival. I'm here today to talk to you about a system that I believe we're starting to see a real steady increase in price with. That is the Nintendo 3DS. In September 2020, Nintendo announced that they were discontinuing the 3DS family. Normally when that happens, you start to see an increase in price in the system and of course the games as well. And I believe we are starting to see that increase in price starting to pick up a little bit more momentum now. So what I'm going to do today is just show you a handful of games from my collection that you can still pick up for a relatively cheap price. So if you have yet to jump on the 3DS, or a new adopter, or haven't tried any of these games, this video should hopefully give you some steer as to some ones to look out for. The first game I'm going to talk about is a series that I'm a big fan of, but for some reason when this game came out I must have been playing something else, so this one kind of missed me by. But I managed to pick this up for £5 recently, just 10 days ago. That game is Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, the sequel to Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, which is an absolutely fantastic game on the 3DS, and you can still pick that up fairly cheap as well. But £5, you can't go wrong. The next game is from a series which loads of people love and enjoy the world over, and that is Pokemon X. This game started to rise in price a little while ago, but it seems to have plateaued out now. If you can pick this up for around about £20, you're getting a good deal. If you can get it under £20, jump on that deal immediately. Lots of people are sort of heading towards the Omega Red series, and a lot of people are really going hard for those games on the original DS, but for some reason Pokemon X, Pokemon Y and the Sun and Moon series, they seem to be around about the £20 mark. So if you've ever been curious, now's the time for this one. Next up is probably my favourite on-rail shooter, and that is Star Fox 64 3D. Now, to those of us that had it on the Nintendo 64, it was also known as Lilac Wars. But this game is absolutely fantastic. This particular port is a great remaster, it's a great redoing, the graphics look better, it had a slightly different soundtrack, which I wasn't overly a fan of. I still prefer the Nintendo 64 soundtrack, but this game is incredible. It looks great on the system, and I have seen this go for as little as £7. You really cannot go wrong with that. The next game I'm going to talk about is an absolute masterpiece. It's a classic, most people have played it, but there are still some people that haven't, believe it or not, and that is Ocarina of Time. This is one of the best video games you will ever play. It is, as I said, a masterpiece. This particular game is seen a decline, believe it or not, in price. You can now pick this up, I would say, for around £10 if you're in the right place at the right time, but still, if you were to pay £15 to £20 for this, you're in a very good place. A lot of people are jumping on Majora's Mask 3D at the moment, so again, if you've never played this, never owned it, or had an interest in playing this particular port, now is the time to jump on this one while everybody else is rushing over here for Majora's Mask. Next up is two games. One game is a staple from a previous Nintendo system, and then the sequel was on the 3DS. Those games are Luigi's Mansion and Luigi's Mansion 2. This game is much bigger than Luigi's Mansion, and it has a lot more to do, but you can't beat the original Luigi's Mansion. There's something about this game that is just so inherently charming and inherently wonderful. Luigi's Mansion 2 you can pick up fairly cheap still. Luigi's Mansion though, this one is on the rise. If you're seeing this for around £25, £30 even, I would still consider that a good deal, but this one is starting to creep up really gradually. So again, now is the time to jump on this one if you can see it. But if you haven't played Luigi's Mansion 2, you can pick this one up really cheaply still, so both of those have got to be on your list. And to finish up, you can't talk about a Nintendo system without bringing in a Mario game, and of course the one on 3DS, Super Mario 3D Land. This game, I adored it when it came out, I still adore it now, and it is still a very affordable game. £10, £15, again you can get it under £10 if you're in the right place at the right time, but if you have yet to play this, and you're a Mario fan, even if you're just a fan of 3D platformers, I would highly recommend jumping on this immediately. So there we go. There's a handful of 3DS games from my collection that I think you should jump on immediately because of the price. If, like me, you picked up the 3DS at launch, there's a very high likelihood that you've probably played these games or have them in your collection. But if you're looking to start your 3DS collection, or have only recently just picked up the system, and you haven't played any of these games, these are ones that I would highly recommend immediately. The price on all of them is about right at the moment, and you can get many other games for far less money as well. But those games for me are absolute staples of the system, and if you can get them now, I absolutely would, because I think this system over the next year or so is going to climb in price dramatically. Thanks ever so much for watching. I've been Ollie from Retro Gaming Revival. Click that subscribe button, hit that bell button to be notified of all the videos that we've got coming out, and I will see you next time.